Hello, all. Welcome to Mondays on my live stream channel. When y'all come in, make sure you hit that like button and say a friendly hello so I'll know who's joining in on my live. We're back on schedule Monday. It's not always on Mondays I can make it to do this, but we're back on Say the Cat Writes a Novel. I think it's Columbus Day. Donald's out of school. Most people are out of school for the holiday. So we're back on Say the Cat Writes a Novel. And it's called Full Triumphant Victory of the Underdog. I'm just going to wait till more people come in. Because on my last live, hardly nobody showed up. Only one person. And for me to continue to keep doing this, I need more people to support me by showing up, hitting the like button, subscribing to my channel, leaving comments. We all participate together. We all win. You support my channel, I support your channel. So I'm just waiting to see if more people comes on. Just 1 minute. I just got a message important and I need to answer this right quick. So if you come on, be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment. Y'all come in, just make sure you hit the like button, please. As you all know, I talk a little bit about it. I started my 4-day mini sample experience. I'm out. I don't have no more right now, but I did get the experience. I did get to share the joy, the results, how I was feeling, and want to spread the love to each and one of you, because I want everyone out there to be healthy. This is show and tell. It's all ain't being done. It was a 4-day mini sample. I won it at my local gathering at the Los Mariachis, and they have another one coming up this Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's going to be in Kershaw. I have to look it up what the restaurant is. If you go to my Facebook wall or one of my friends, Amanda Nazadar, and you better see it on her wall, but it's from 6 to 8. They're going to have raffle tickets, giveaways, certain things. You don't want to miss it if you're local and can get there. I'm still not sure if I'm going on this one or not. I have to wait and see. But until more people come on, we'll get this going. My partner, his son's gone to town. So while they're gone, I'm able to get on here and try to get this done. So they had to go to town and pick up some things. And when they do that, that's when I try to jump on and do my live stream. But we talked so much things about Say the Cat Writes a Novel. We went talking about the superhero, being extraordinary or the ordinary. We talked about the beat sheets, the why I done it, having a hero as your character when you're trying to write a book or a certain essay or something that you're doing in college and you got to use characters, for instance. This book breaks everything down. How to gather your team, point 2, executing your plan, dig deep down, break into threes, your final images, your mother's generic to fit any story, which event would fit in yours. It's a lot of things that we covered all through back here, and if you missed it, you'll just have to go back and find it from the beginning on the day I actually started with this book from the beginning, because there's a lot to go through to try to keep going back, and I don't have that much time a day to do that. I should be out working in my yard still, but I took the time to take that moment break to get on here to go live. And this is to all writers. You all know my channel is mostly about writers. But when I'm doing other journeys or goals I'm trying to set and complete, I don't mind sharing it with you all. And like I said, if you're interested in know more about the 123 Thriving Experience, or about Lavelle, it's the name of the company, it's called Lavelle 123. You leave me your information in a PM. You leave me your number, your email, or whatever you're going to use if you decide to sign up for your account. It's free to sign up as a customer. It's also free to sign up to be a promoter. But I tell most of the people that I reach out to start out as a customer, because you want to build your team. And when you go and reach out to people, they got to do the same thing. They got to build your team. And we're all on the same kind of team. Others are just a little bit higher ranks than we are. And I'm still working on my referrals. In order to help me thrive, you have to get 2 referrals up under you. Well, I have to get 2 referrals up under me. And when you sign up, you link it to my account. And when you get ready to place your first order up under AutoShip, that will help me thrive for free. And then when you go and talk to people and you tell people how it goes and how everything works, they sign up under you. You have to get 2 referrals. They sign up. The people under them sign up 2 referrals, and you just keep building your team. The more referrals you get, the more you'll grow. And then when you're ready, you hit that promoter button, and they give you the first 14 days, the first time, I think, to try to win that 800 bonus. If you don't get it within the 14 days, well, you lose that bonus. And you just keep working at it until you do get it. And you got people building on your team that's going to help you just as well. So if you have any questions, you send me a private message on Messenger under Lisa Thunderberg. Or you can add me under Facebook, Lisa Thunderberg. And just shoot me a private message. Leave me your number. The email that you're going to actually use, it has to be the one you're using under your free account under Lavelle. And you just sign up. You look it up. You type it in. Lavelle.com. It's an iCloud login. That's the way I logged in. At. And it tells you what to do. You just put your information in. Once you sign in, like I said, you add me on Facebook. You send me a private message in Messenger with your number and your email, and we'll set up a 3-way call. It'll be me and another friend of mine that's actually been doing this a lot longer than I have. It's more experience, and they will be the one to introduce and tell you more of the information of what this does. But right now, we're getting back to Say the Cat Writes a Novel. If more people will come in, would be nice. Because a lot of times I haven't been on my every Monday like I did when I started out, and this might have confused some people. But you all see, I'm live. I'm here. I'm not quit and gave up on my channel. I just need more people to come on to get more watch time. I need more likes. I need more subscribers, people commenting. And this keeps reaching other people to come on for them to like, and it helps my channel grow. Okay. Warning, this chapter contains spoilers for the following books. The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot, Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen Fielding, and Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I realize the title of this book references cats, but now it's time to switch gears for a moment and talk about dogs. Or rather, one very specific type of dog, the underdog. Who doesn't love a story about a victorious underdog? A poor, overlooked, cast aside sap who rises up against those who have discounted them and proves to everyone, especially themselves, that they are worth something. Dang it, they are valuable. They can and will make a difference. That's what novels fitting into this next genre is all about. Meet the Fool Triumphant. The hero of this type of story is a fool, an overlooked underdog whose biggest disadvantage and strength is the fact that they are constantly disregarded, usually by some type of I'll get it in a minute, establishment or a group of people. That's kind of a hard word to say, but bear with me, you all. Think about Diary of the Wimpy Kid by Jeff Keeney. No one expects that the kid to excel in middle school, am I right? Or Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. Who would expect a woman who can't stop shopping to excel out in the world? Of Financial Journalism, or even Jane in Jane Eyre by Charlotte. The girl is cast aside and is overlooked almost everywhere she goes. No one in society expects her to succeed in independence, and yet succeed she does. They all do. Because in the end, the fool in these stories is always triumphant. The underdog wins, and in that process, they end up mostly by accident, exposing establishment for the ridiculousness that is essentially it is establishment that looks foolish in the end, if for no other reason than for daring to discount our hero. To craft a successful novel in this genre, you'll need three important ingredients. Number one, you might want to take notes on this. A fool, someone overlooked by society and often naive to their own potential. Number two, an establishment that the fool is in some way pitted against. And number three, a transmutation in which the hero becomes someone else, adopts a new name, or gets a new mission. Let's take a look at these in detail. The fool can be anyone of any age, from a middle school boy like Greg Heffney in The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, to a teen girl like Maya Therapolopoulos in The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot, to a grown woman like Becky Bloomwood in Confessions of a Shopaholic. The only criterion is that the heroes start out disregarded and overlooked by those around them. But while being disregarded may seem like a weakness at first, it will ultimately prove to be the hero's greatest advantage. The fool triumphant differs from a superhero story in that no one seems to know that the hero is special, possibly even the hero themselves, unlike a superhero stories, where almost everyone knows that this guy or gal is the one. In the fool triumphant stories, no one seems to take our heroes seriously at first or consider them a threat. Well, almost no one. There's usually one person within establishment, I keep getting tongue-tied, who does see the fool's true potential and works hard to keep it hidden. This is a common character found in fool triumphant stories called the jealous insider. Have you all ever heard that? The jealous insider? The person who can see the fool's true potential, possibly the only one, and feels threatened by the fool, thus doing anything in their power to sabotage them. That's what it is. They don't want to believe in them. They don't want nobody to uplift them. They want to sabotage them for being or becoming what they want to be or what they want to do. The establishment is a group of people or a subsection of society that the fool either is sent in to confront, like the beauty pageant World and Dumpling by Julie Murphy, if y'all heard of that book story, the fashion world and the devil wears Prada by Lauren Wetzberger, or plain old middle school and the Diary of the Wimpy Kid by Jeff Keeney, or already exists within and naturally stands opposed to like 19th century society in Jane Eyre and Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. I used to love reading Charles Dickens. That's some stuff that just I had to read several times, but the more I've read his books, it's only been a few, the more I was drawn into him. He's a great writer. You all should check into Charles Dickens's. But don't let the fool triumphant fool you. This isn't like an institutionalized story in which the fool sets out to join or destroy a certain group. The fool is usually just going about their businesses, living their life. They're not really looking to destroy anything. The fool's greatest strength and superpower, even if they don't realize it yet, is their innocence and their ability to just be what? Be themselves. Don't be somebody you're not. Your readers are going to read into that. If you're writing a book or a story, your readers is going to read into that. So be careful. Make sure you always being true to yourself, who you are. That is a must, important. The fool pokes holes and exposes a system that ridicules them by standing apart from what the system represents, thus exposing its flaws, and in the process, it is the fool who ends up getting the last what? Laugh. And finally, the transmutation is a moment in the fool triumphant story in which the fool becomes someone else, either by accident or as a disguise. They can disguise themselves. While all stories have metaphorical transformation, stories, this generic also contains this physical transformation. A moment where the hero changes their name, puts on a disguise, and dresses up, changes their mission, or becomes a new person. If only for a few pages, Jane Eyre becomes a governess. Maya Thermopolis puts on the dress and the tiara and becomes a princess. Maya and the Princess Diaries, Bridget Jones quits her job as a book publisher and becomes a TV journalist in Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen Fielding. If y'all read that book, she's more familiar and popular. The Wimpy Kids have been popular for years. A lot of young kids, teenagers, they love them. It's a key element in the story because it's the movement when the establishment starts to see the hero as someone a little less foolish than they once thought. It is the reverse of someone shedding their mask and revealing their true identity. The hero is essentially hiding their true identity in order to fool the people who have been disregarding them. But don't worry, the transmutation mask never stays on for long because in the end, all fool triumphant stories celebrate the idea that regardless of what others think of us, we are our strongest when we are what? Ourselves. We're not our strongest when we're trying to play a role of somebody else. As I said before, people is going to read into that. You have to be yourself. In anything you're trying to do and trying to accomplish, you have to be yourself. They want to see the real you, not somebody you're trying to be. It's like I'm being me. I'll admit if I haven't done a lot of streams on my regular schedule. I'll admit when I have an update or something major important happen, and I want to just shout it out to the rooftop. I want to share these things because that's my passion. That's me. That's who I am. And as being a writer, that's why I can do and share and go over things and sections in this book because this is for writers. It's also for screenwriters. People needs help in college. This book, some college professionals, they actually use this in their college. In their curriculum, they actually use this same book. It's changed many writers' lives and many more to come. Full triumphant stories resonate with readers because we've all been there. We've all had to struggle to fit in. And we all had some point in our lives been the victim of doubt. We all went through that, including you. Someone or some group has told us you can't do that. But most of the full triumphant story resonates with us because deep down, we all want to believe that one person can make a difference. We love our foolish heroes because they win for the underdog in all of us. And they teach us that believing in yourself is sometimes the only weapon you need. Believing in you is the only weapon you need. To recap, if you're thinking of writing a full triumphant novel, make sure your story includes these 3 essential ingredients. We're going to go over it one more time. Make sure you got your pencil, notepad, and let's take some notes. Number one, a fool, whose innocence is their strength and whose gentle manner makes them likely to be ignored by all but a jealous insider who knows so well. Number two, an establishment, the people or group the fool comes up against either within their own environment or after being sent to a new place in which they do not fit in at first. Either way, the mismatch promises fireworks. And the last one, number three, a transmutation in which the fool becomes someone or something new, often including a name change that is taken on either by accident or as a what? We talked about it, disguise. And then here's just got examples of popular fool triumphant novels through time. And they're just all listed. You know, we talked about the Diary of Wimpy Kid. Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen and Jane Eyre. That's just some of the few ones. And you got Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. I read a little bit about it. I haven't read it all the way through, but what I've read and what I've learned about this writer, this author, he's great. He's awesome. So I hope you all like this section on chapter on 9 on the fool, triumphant victory of the underdog. It breaks things down. It really makes sense when you break stuff down instead of just gobbling all up in one thing. Although the classic novel on which is loosely based, Pride and Prejudice, is a buddy love story. On this one, we talked about the buddy love story last week. We went over that, the opening images, the theme stated, the setup, and it just goes on with certain examples. Next Monday, if I can make it here on Monday, we'll be on Buddy Love, which we done that last week. Was Buddy Love. We done that last week. So the next one's going to be 9-10. You know, sometimes people get confused if you're not right on point with certain sections that you're at. So we want to make sure we're on point with everything. We'll be out of the bottle. A little bit of magic goes a long way. And we can talk about it a little bit now if you like. Wishing, whether it be on a shooting star, on a birthday cake, glowing with candles, on a wishbone, or maybe even as we fall asleep. We all wish for something at some point in our lives. And we've all wondered, what if it actually came true? That's why this generic doubled out of the bottle in honor of Aladdin and his magic wish granting lamp. He resonates so strongly with the readers. It is a story that gets told over and over again. A hero wishes for something that will make all other problems go away. And poof, it comes true. But this magical generic isn't just about granting wishes. It is also about bestowing curses, sending guardian angels, swapping bodies, and even transporting your hero into strange dimensions and parallel universes. Regardless of the type of nature bending you choose to do, all the stories in and out of the bottle generic boil down to the same thing. Make sure you all come back and hit that like button you come in. Stay on a while. All the stories in and out of the bottle generic boil down to the same thing. A guy or a gal is bestowed with some sort of magic, realizes that reality isn't all that bad, and comes out in the end a changed what? A changed person. Presto. The magic in out of the bottle tales is used as a vehicle, a convenient, clever, and thought-provoking way to illustrate a universal truth that we all could stand to learn. We are pretty dang great as we are. No magic required. No magic required. Because once the magic is bestowed upon our hero, they eventually have to learn that they didn't need it after all. Which is why you don't see a lot of other world fantasy or sci-fi novels in this generic. This generic isn't explored a new fantastical world like in the Harry Potter series, the Lord of the Rings series, or the Chronicles of Narnia, or a Song of Ice and Fire series. A Game of Thrones. Y'all familiar with some of these. Most of the heroes in the Out of the Bottle generic come from our world and are temporarily gifted or cursed with magic. They're like us, and that's what makes them so much fun to read about. Although this touch by magic generic is typically seen more in movies than in books. Famous examples being The Nutty Professor, Big 13 Going on 30 by Jennifer Gardner. Y'all seen that? I owned that movie. That was hilarious. It was very funny but great. Freaky Friday, Bruce Almighty, The Masked Liar, or Liar Liar, The Mask, The Shadow Hall, and Groundhog Day. It's been done successfully in novels as well. And interestingly enough, the generic tends to be more popular in books for younger readers, like The Indian in the Cupboard by Lynn Reed Banks, The Swap by Megan Scholl, 11 Birthdays by Wendy Mass, Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver, and If I Stay by Gail Forman, namely because magic and granted wishes tends to appeal particularly to kids and teens. But that doesn't mean adults can't join in the fun as well, because he does enjoy a little twist of magic, a little bending of the rules, or an answer to the universal question, what if? Some favorites of this generic of the non-kid variety include 20s Girl by Sophie Kinsella, Landlad by Rainbow Rowell, and of course one of the most beloved classics of all time, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Even Oscar Wilde dabbed in some out-of-the-bottle-ness of his own when he penned his famed classic novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Regardless of the intended audience, out-of-the-bottle stories all share three commonalities. 1, a hero deserving of the magic. Take your notes, all. 2, a spell or touch of magic. 3, a lesson. Let's take a closer look at these, whether your hero is an underdog, a desperate need of some magical intervention, like in 20s Girl, or of unlikable grouch, of arrogant jerk who needs to be taught a lesson with a nice little curse. Like in A Christmas Carol, the hero must deserve this magic, and our out-of-the-bottle hero must be properly matched with their bottle. We readers need to immediately grasp and understand why this hero is getting this magic. And not only do we need to understand, we need to root for it. After the amazing job that Charles Dickens does, setting up the awful miser Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, there's no way we're not totally on board when those three Christmas ghosts turn up and show the old Scrooge what's what. Conversely, when the poor down on her luck recently dumped Laura Langton in the 20s Girls gets visited by the ghost of her 105-year-old Aunt Sadie, who helps Laura sort out her life. We get it. We're there cheering her on. We want this for Laura just as much as she does. So that's your first question. When penning it out of the bottle, why does this hero deserve this magic in their life? Why do you think this hero deserves this magic in their life? Make sure y'all hit that like button. Say a friendly hello. Welcome to my live channel. We're back on Say the Cat Writes a Novel. Right now we're on Out of the Bottle, A Little Bit of Magic Goes a Long Way, 11. And before I did 9, The Fool Triumphant, Underdog. So now we're on Out of the Bottle, A Little Bit of Magic Goes a Long Way. So that's your first question when penning it out of the bottle. Why does this hero deserve this magic in their life? Are they tread upon Cinderella type who just can't catch a break? Also called an empowerment story. Or do they more resemble one of the wicked stepsisters who desperately needs a reality check? Also called a compass story. Either way, make sure the reader gets it. Set up your hero so that when the magic strikes, usually at the catless beat, we are saying, oh yeah, they totally deserve this. You want to make sure your readers and viewers understands what the hero is doing. or all your characters, whoever it may be. They want to be able to follow along and know what each one is doing, what is representing, basically. A word of caution, however. The come opponent stories can be harder to pull off than empowerment stories. When you have an unlikable hero, it's much easier for a reader to get prematurely turned off. What I was just saying before, by the character, and put the book down before the fun stuff even begins. If they're not entertained, if it doesn't pop out to them, when they first start reading, they can get turned off and walk away. You want to make sure it entices and inspires your readers. Even though this mini is eventually going to get what's coming to them, you don't want to lose your reader before you have a chance to give your character their much needed kick in the booty. This is where a Save the Cat movement can really save your novel. Let me read that again, you all. This is where the Save the Cat moment can really save your novel. If you're getting stuck, you got that little fat head thing and you're stuck. You got, say, like 4 characters lined out and you're stuck on a certain major one you've been working on for a few months. This book here will help you figure out who that other character you want to be. Okay? The next thing. See what I did there? Give your hero something that is redeemable up front, ideally before the catalyst beat, and preferably within the first 10 to 20 pages. Even the biggest nitwits on the planet have something about them that's worth saving. Show us why we should invest our precious time watching this hero transform. Because it's exciting. There's a little bit of twist into the story. There's some magic going on. There's some little ditwits going on there, thinking they can be above everybody. There's some trying to be something they're not. They're faking it. But you want to be you, be your true self. Prove to us early on that even though they don't look like much now, just you wait. They've got hidden depth. They're worth the pages. And then when you read that, you're worth what you put in that story or that book. It's got to draw your readers and your viewers in. You might want to start joining other writers groups. Jump right in there and share your mistakes. Share where you started at and where you at now. They'll want to hear that. And some of these people in these writer groups that you can join on social media, I find on Facebook very helpful. Even on YouTube, you can type it in the keyword you want to find or join in writers group, and it's going to pull up a whole bunch of different writers group. You join in there and you read what other people say and figure out where their struggles are, their weaknesses is. They might be somewhere to where you ahead of them, and where you at, you might can help them out. They might be above you and you might need a kick step, and they can help you to get to where they're at. You see what I'm saying? When you join groups, you meet other people, get to know them on a personal level. And then you work your way in there telling about your stories, your goals. You find out what their goals about. It pretty much all comes together. Does it make sense? Feel free to comment any questions you may have so far. Yeah, they're worth the pages. They're putting their worth. They're putting their all into their book. They're showing you their ups and their kind of wit side, and then they come better with it as they go along with it. The next step, in or out of the bottle checklist, you'll need a little bit of magic, of course. This is called the spell or the touch of magic. What exactly is the magic of this magical tale? It is a flapper dress Charleston dancing ghost. 20s girl? Is it an out of the body experience? If I stay? Is it a magic landline phone that can call the past landline? Or maybe is it a day that keeps repeating itself over and over? Beloved birthdays and before I fall. whatever it is. Make sure it's front and center in the act 2 of your novel. After all, it is the whole premise of the story. In other words, like the gut of your story. This magical thing is probably going to be promised to readers on the back of the book or in the online description. So make sure you deliver on that promise. If you got that or what your book's about or your summary, you got to make sure you follow through that promise throughout, your information, what your book or your character's about. If you don't keep that promise, you're not going to keep your readers hooked. They're going to move on elsewhere to another author, or somebody else is trying to complete their goals with their first piece or their first book. I'm still working on my rough draft, my very first book. I've only wrote one. I'm working on the second one. It's a fantasy for young adult readers. It's going to be a little magical. It's a little twisted point turns in it. But right now I'm just working on the characters and fitting in with each personality, what they do with this book. I'm getting more sharper since I've ordered my own copy, and it's helping me to think clear, to put my characters in more perspective on my second book and characters I'm starting off. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, you learn different things. All heroes, everybody's book and story is not the same, but yet everybody wants to be, they want to get their book out there. They want to be noticed. They want to be acknowledged. They want credit for it. And I hope you all really are trying hard to support me on my channel, because it's not easy. If anybody says it's easy to be a writer, they are lying to you, because it's not. It's very challenging. You have to work at it every day. Set goals, write goals, set notes. Sorry about that. I plug in my computer before it dies. We don't want to die in the middle of my live stream. And normally I have it plugged in, but it was charged up before I got on here. You want to most definitely keep your outline descriptions and make sure you deliver that promise. Whether your hero wishes for the magic themselves or the magic is thrust upon them, make sure the spell itself is what? Unique. It has to be unique. If you're talking about, say, like Morella, she's a magical witch, and you're talking about, say, her friend Billy, he's the drama hero that wants to mess everybody's life up. It's got to blend in with what you're talking about. Okay? Make it interesting and fun and exciting. This will be your novel's book. It's important to note that you don't have to spend a lot of time on how the magic works. Your why is important. The why is important. Why is this hero being bestowed with this magic? So whoever hero you got listed for that, you got to tell us why for each character, so that it makes sense to the readers. So don't waste pages explaining the ins and outs of the spell or taking us down long-winded rabbit holes of explanation. In the 20s, girls, the magic is simply introduced and dealt with quickly. I don't know how it works, says Laura's great aunt, Sadie. I just think about where I want to be, and I'm there. Page 73. And we go on page 73, which I'm way back. I'm on 213 so far of doing my live with this book. It's amazing. It's taught me so much. It's made my mind sharper, made my thoughts sharper, and you learn a lot. That's what we was talking about, the transformation machine. So there you have it, the 15 beats to save the cat beat sheet, the magic. The beat sheet is also called a transformation machine. It goes back there, which we went over the beat sheets way back in the beginning. So I don't need to go back and repeat all that. I just think about where I want to be, and I'm there. And in the Indian in the cupboard, we simply know that the cupboard is magic, and it brings little bear, Amory's toy Indian figure, to life. Lenny Reed Banks doesn't go into much more details than that. More important than the how are the rules of the magic. Yes, even though it's magic and even though it goes against the laws of nature, you still have to have rules. And you have to stick to them, no matter how tempting it might be to play around and change things up. That will suit your plot. Remember that readers are going to have to willingly suspend disbelief in order to be pulled into your fantastical tale. They're going to have to say, "Well, that's impossible," but what the hey, sounds like a good read. But you only get one chance to do that, one chance. And if you cheat your readers by establishing the rules of the magic up front and then changing them further down the road, your readers will feel what? They're going to feel betrayed. They're going to feel like they've been lied to. And you will lose them. As I said before, you will lose your readers. Readers are the out, and the Biogenary dives into the novels knowing it's not going to follow the basic laws of nature, but they trust you to do it well. So don't betray that trust. And finally, the third thing you'll need when crafting your out of this world, out of the bottle, is a lesson. How is a hero transformed by this magic? Could you give me an example what you think how the hero is transformed out of this magic on what we're talking about in this section here? Feel free to leave your answers either while we live or at the replay. Feel free to comment and show your support in this. In the end, our heroes, the dictionary, must realize something very important, that it's not the magic that will fix their lives for good. It is the hero themselves who need to do that. So that answers the question. Your heroes needs to be the one to do that. It just answered right after what I just said. It answered the question I just asked. This book is awesome. The magic just showed them what needed to be fixed. That is the essence of the out of the bottle generic. You see how it just answered that? It's amazing. Although it's always nice to get a little shortcut in life, use magic to sweep all your problems under the rug. In the end, we all know it is cheating. And if the magic were the ultimate solution to the problems, what we readers had to resonate with it? We know that magic is never going to happen to us, which is why most of our Bible stories include some kind of moral or lesson about reality and humanity. Basically, that they're both pretty awesome, right? Being human has its advantages too. And it turns out magic doesn't solve the real life problems. It was just a fun distraction for a while. That is also why most out of the Bible heroes eventually have an Act 3 beat, in which they have to do it without the what? Without the magic. The Act 3 beat, they have to do it without the magic. This is usually some big final moment when the hero proves once and for all that they didn't need that silly old magic to complete their transformations. They got that part covered all on their own. Because in the end, the true magic lies inside of us. We're the magic. We're the one that brings that story alive. We're the one that comes up with that perfect title that fits our story. We're the one that brings our characters to life. It's us doing it, us as the writer, and becoming the author of that story of that book. To recap, if you're thinking of writing an out of the Bible novel, make sure your story includes these three essential ingredients. We're going to go over it again. Number one, a hero deserving the magic, whether you're empowering an underdog or delivering a compass to the worthy receptive. Make sure it's clear to the reader for that the hero needs a specific supernatural boost. Number two, a spell or touch of magic. Regardless of how the magic comes to be, a person, place, a thing, or other, make sure you're setting up this a logical thing with logical rules that you stick to, lest you risk betraying your reader's what? Trust. And the last one, number three, a lesson. What does your hero learn from this magic? And how do they ultimately fix things the right way without the magic? These are questions you have to answer for us under your hero. And then again, it shows the proper examples. We went over A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, The Picture of Doran. You got Mary Poppins, The Freaky Friday, 20s Girls, The Ocean of the End by Lane and Neil Gaiman, Landlord by Rainbow Rowell, The Swap by Megan Schull, and Parallel by Lauren Miller. That's just examples. They use these things. They use these steps, ingredients to help do their book. And it looks like that when it shows you the example of it. Is that not neat, guys? Can you see it? The sun might kind of be too bright. I apologize. It's through my window. So you'll have that. And that's about it for us today on Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I've done 2 sections today. For some reason, by mistake, I skipped 9. So I went ahead and done 9 today, and I done 10 last Tuesday. And now I just done the second one of, I think it's 11, which is Out of the Bottle, A Little Bit of Magic Goes a Long Way. And next week of Save the Cat Writes a Novel section, we will be on Golden Fleece, Road Trips, and Quests, and Heist. Oh my. That will be on 12, so stay tuned. If you haven't liked my channel or seen to watch me live, which not many people own right now, make sure you watch the replay. Comment, like, subscribe my channel, and don't forget to click that bell so you don't miss my lives when I do go live again. Well, I hope y'all having a great holiday, Columbus Day. Beautiful weather, feels like fall, and you're doing something that's productive. You're setting goals, you're taking notes, and you're accomplishing it. You're rocking them. Well, God bless. I'm sending love and light to y'all way. Have a great afternoon. Bye. And don't forget to order your copy. Save the Cat Writes a Novel. It's by Jessica Brody, based on the books by Blake Snyder. Order your copy, y'all. You'll be glad you did. Bye now.